Hi everyone, welcome back to the another episode of Nonsense Paradise. And today I'm with Anubha Maneshwar. She founded a non-profit company called Girl Script Foundation to help beginners in technology. Currently, her organization is working in 56 cities of India and has impacted over 40,000 beginners. She has been featured in Forbes 30 under 30 Asia list of 2020 under the social entrepreneurs category and in top 8 of technology playmaker award by booking.com. If I start telling all her awards and achievement, then this video is going to be a really long video, longer than any average Bollywood movie. So I'll just quickly welcome Anubha.
Thank you so much, Yugansh, for giving me your precious time and hosting me here for your podcast. And I'm really excited for further conversation.
Sure, thank you. So Anubha, let's start with your journey. I want to know more about how you got into founding a non-profit company and your initial days of college education. So please share your journey with the viewers.
Yeah, so in college, I have no idea that we can have our own company, or we can become an entrepreneur, or we can have a startup or something like not exactly till first or second year. I think after second year, I got to know about all this, but still, I had no idea to. Or no passion to build a company initially. What I did was I was working with Mozilla and other communities, and I started GirlScript as a project under Mozilla Open Leaders Program. So it was basically a open source project that I started because my mentor suggested me to start it as a project. Because I worked with a lot of communities earlier and I found some of the drawbacks, or I would say I worked with a lot of organizations as an intern as well, and I found out that uh, there is something lacking in the education system and the communities and monitoring students, and that we will further talk about. So I think, yeah, there were some loopholes that I wanted to cover, and that's why I wanted to start it as a project. So not being a founder, but just being a project initiator was my calling to start it. Yeah.
So, what do you think? What are the existing problems in the tech communities?
So if I talk about problems, like initially I'm speaking of the time around 2015, 16, 15, I guess, when I started my college in 2013, 14, there were no communities, especially if I talk about cities like Nagpur. You can find a lot of communities in Delhi, in Hyderabad, Bangalore, but if you talk about a tier 2 city like Nagpur, where there are around 80 to 100 colleges, and still you do not have like any existent of any community, or you do not have anything where people are grouping together, forming something, learning together. So there was no existence of that. The second thing was there was no regularity of things. For example, in other communities as well, if I go to one community, X events happen like on some day, and then there will be A event happening, and then D. So there is no connection between the points, and probably like most of the communities do not ask you like you came as a XYZ person and now where are you sitting. Like there is no testimonial part, there is no growth kind of tracking. So you do not know where the person has reached being a part of your community, or what is their performance, how much they have improved, what is the exact analysis of everything. So regularity was missing because a meetup, then D meetup, then Z meetup were happening. So there was no regularity with the construction of the meetups or the workshops that we were planning, the schedule. The second thing was there was no monitoring for these students who were attending. Like there were different types of people who were gathering at one place, but still no parameters were set to analyze how much they are learning. The third thing is that the growth which has happened. So I think these were the main problem. The fourth thing was tier 2 and tier 3 cities and gap between non-premier and premier colleges, as I say, because not even premier colleges, but there were bunch of people in every city that I saw who were active part of community and were getting a lot of opportunities due to that. But there was a bigger section of community which was not getting anything at all, because I saw a lot of friends from Delhi who got two biggest company scholarships in one day, like the same girl, diversity scholarship. So this doesn't make diversity. Like the same girl getting two scholarships in one day doesn't make any kind of purpose of diversity. It does not solve anything. So that was, I think, these were the few points that I wanted to take from my experiences and then start something of my own.
Yeah, so when you say that, like there are a lot of already communities in cities like Delhi, Hyderabad, or the metro cities. So if a student is going to them, they don't like they are not sure if that particular person is able to learn something out of it or not. So how do you like at Girl Script make sure that the person who's attending maybe a seminar or a workshop or any event, then this particular person is able to gain something out of this workshop?
Yeah, so we never do any workshop from advanced level or intermediate level. Like we do not start anything from advanced level. We always go from scratch. If you are someone of intermediate or advanced level, you can join maybe later on. But our process will start from the beginning. Like if we start JavaScript, we will tell you what is J, A, and then we will move towards T. Like we do not do like directly T or some paths which is like more advanced, so that we make sure of that we are beginning. And plus if we talk about the caliber of different cities and the people living there, their mindset, everything is different, their upbringing also, from where they are coming. So what we do is our chapter leaders analyze what is exactly required in their city or their area. Because if we talk about Bihar, in Hajipur, so we have a chapter in Hajipur, we have a chapter in Jammu where there is no internet access many of the times. We also have chapters in IIT BHU, and then we have chapters in other colleges like premier universities as well. So we cannot set them on the same scale. We have to customize the plan according to what is required at their campus, what is required at their city. So this is what we bring in on the table. Yeah.
Amazing. So there's one quick thing which came in mind, though that when we talk about communities, there are brands associated with them. Like there is GDG, there is Facebook Developer Circle, right? So when you started like with zero brand value, right? So at that time, like, did you have any sort of thought in your mind that maybe these are the like big players in the market? I want to be able to what do you call? I want to be able to cope up with them. What do you think about that? Like, do you still think also just one more question adding to this, like I think people, especially students, are behind such brands when it comes to joining communities, right? So how do you see this scenario?
If talking about early stages, as I told you, I had no clue that I am going to start my own company. So I never analyzed it from a perspective that they'll be my like competitor communities or something like that. I never saw it from that perspective. I just saw that okay, there are few loopholes which I can work on, and this will be my community, or this will be my contribution to the community from my behalf. So this was only my perspective in the beginning. And now if I talk about the students, whether they are running after the brands, obviously there is a bigger section of people right now who I have seen one person who is leading 10 different communities. So it's like they want to collect everything, like everyone swags. They believe that if they go for X company, they will give them jobs. Their future will be secured and something, and that's why like one of the reason is that. The second thing is they look for swags. They look for meeting good people and taking selfies, posting on social media. If they put it on LinkedIn, many people will like it. So a selfie with someone from Google hire like staff or like core team or something, it makes a lot of value to your LinkedIn profile or to your social media, and everybody today is looking to become an influencer. So I believe a major section right now is also running after brand, but now things are changing because a lot of people have now focused on skill development or developing themselves. So a lot of people are also understanding that okay, this is also another way which I can go through and shine later on. So I think now it has been divided into 75-25. Still 75 are running towards the brands, but still 25% of the people are now much aware of what is exactly required to become successful. Like it's nobody can make you that, but you have to do it on your own, no matter how you do it. Yeah.
Right. So when you say these numbers 75 and 25, do you mean it from metro cities or cities like Nagpur when there was no communities back in 2015, 2014?
No, so I am talking about overall scenario. Like in Nagpur, still the situations are very worst because we have gone to colleges like literally every day to teach for free. I have taught around, I think, 10 to 15,000 students in Vidarbha region one on one, going to different colleges asking for permission that we want to teach these students, because here scenario is like completely community is very far for them. They don't even know how to write emails. Even the communities exist, even what are the opportunities that will be available. So here we have to go and tell the each individual, okay, this is the thing called Girl Script, and there are other communities as well. If you don't want to join us, there are other opportunities as well, and you can join there, and how to accelerate your career. And they don't know what is LinkedIn. They write GitHub spelling when I tell them GITHUB. So the scenario here is very different. I am talking about 75-25 overall in India, regarding the changing mindset. Yeah.
Just one quick question. So when it comes to communities like GDG, Facebook, like there are a lot of communities. So like what could be the possible reason why they are still not in cities like Nagpur or like any other tier 3 or tier 2 cities?
So see, GDG I think has started in Nagpur. They have done one event called DevFest, which is their flagship event every year, which happens across multiple cities, right? And then since then, I think there is only one or two events have happened like randomly, as I told you earlier, like how it happens, and then it's totally uh, shut down completely, like nothing is happening, right? So like that, a lot of things come to these cities via one or two enthusiastic person, but they are following the usual pattern of just doing one or two things and then stopping. So I think the main reason is that in smaller cities we do not have such kind of enthusiasm, and we need one-on-one mentoring. So for example, if we were to start a community at a smaller city, we take them on our call. So like none of the other communities founders will call you personally. Like the founder will call you and tell you ki ye karna hai, this you have to do, this will be your plan, how you will execute it. So mainly in smaller city motivation is lacking. Like they are mainly running towards achieving something, like getting money out of anything. They do not believe in volunteering and getting back. अभी उनको इवॉल्व होने में like there is a lot of time in getting that mindset that volunteering can get me something. So they have not seen such examples, like many examples in their surroundings. So we have to tell them personally, we have to talk to them, even meet them by going to their city, or maybe telling them to come here, and then we meet, we discuss, and then we plan. So for smaller cities a lot of customization is required, which I think a lot of bigger people, because they have other things to do as well, and mainly the marketing money is flowing into the community. So I don't think they have that kind of customizational support to everyone. So this is, I think, the main reason behind it. Yeah.
Right. And when it comes to such communities, I have seen, like I have attended a few events in Delhi, and they host the events in like five-star hotels, right, and some fancy venues. Yeah. So, anyways, like I come from from an engineering background, and I guess you are an engineer also. So when I was in my first year, I saw that every student from first year to third year, second year, fourth year, even some fourth year students were just going to learn coding to such like some institutes or joining any courses online, because everyone in their group or in the class or in the batch was doing it, right? So students were not sure about what should they pursue, right? Because I think the number is very less, even though there were students who went into non-technical jobs, but still they joined some courses, paid 20, 30, 40,000 rupees as a tuition fee, right? So how a student should go about like finding the right thing? उनको कैसे पता चलेगा कि क्या चीज़ करनी है जब आसपास सब लोग कोडिंग कर रहे होते हैं?
Yeah. So basically, I think the main so how I got to know कि मुझे क्या करना है, like I didn't know anything कि there are startups, there are something like that. So how I came to know, I am telling my way. It might differ for somebody else, but I tried multiple things. So in first and second year, you have a lot of leisure time, I would say. You do not have to work on projects. Internships is not at all compulsory in first and second year. After third years, some of the colleges and university have a compulsion for internship, for projects, for a lot of other things. So what you can do is first and second year utilize and do multiple things. So what I did is I started by writing a blog for rupees 50. So I started writing blogs. I interviewed people. I worked with PNG as marketing intern, and like that I worked for multiple roles, including coding and everything. So this is how you understand, I guess, and you can get a taste of everything, that okay, these are the fields which I need to go for, and maybe this is my calling. So you can go out, you can interact with people, be a part of any community. If that interests you, you can go further. And in community, everyone won't be like, see, there are good people and bad people as well in the community. So you have to be sure that the person you are idealizing or the person you are meeting is someone good, or he or she can guide you. So choose a mentor, maybe online or via offline community. So choose a mentor, get a mentor, set a path. And I would say third thing is to make a vision board, which I tell everyone every time. Write down things, even if it sounds really stupid, even if it sounds like how I am gonna get it, but do not think yourself as a stupid, but write everything which you want to become or get. Everything will start happening eventually, and you will start getting all the path and the career that is required to be someone like that. So eventually things will happen. So three things which I want to tell is vision board, get a mentor, and maybe try out multiple things. And if something interests you, just go for it. Yeah.
Right, true, true, true. I can so much relate with this because you must be knowing Ritesh Malik. He's the founder of Innovate. He recently they sold their company to Oyo Rooms. So I was with Ritesh sir in some event, and he told me one thing, that in his wallet he had just this very small slip. उस पे लिखा है that I want 130 crore INR in my bank account by the time I turn 30, right? And this time like उन्होंने मेरे को बोला, and this is so much like when you write something, उससे एक खुद ही वो like it comes as a reminder, right? And this is why like we use Asana at Shop Nani, so this is why I have this widget on my phone home screen, my to-do list. So whenever I touch my phone, whenever I open my phone, मेरे को वो दिखता है कि हाँ यार ये चीज़ लिखी हुई है, मेरे को क्या करना है, right? So anyways, Anubha, when you talk about mentor, getting a mentor online, offline, so how to find one? Like काफ़ी लोग बोलते हैं get a mentor, and there are a lot of people who say मेरे mentor ने ये बोला, उन्होंने ये बोला, ये करा. But how do you find one mentor?
So there is a huge misconception towards finding a mentor these days, even with the LinkedIn flowing so much in Indian ecosystem. Like people are becoming influencers without doing anything. So first research about that person, whether he or she is capable of doing something, or what they have achieved in their life, or whether they are just talking. Because I have seen a lot of motivational speakers who are just talking about how to become a leader, how to become someone, when they are just talking and they have not even struggled to become something, they are just talking about it. So do not run after talks, or if someone talks nicely, like I might not talk that well, or maybe you might not talk that well, because we are busy doing something. Like we are not maybe like 100% good speakers. There might be a lot of people who just influence you with their talks, and you go after them. Or there are some people who work with the brands, and you understand the brand value and you run after them. But please understand their struggles, know their journey, maybe watch if there are videos about available about them, or maybe some their blogs or something. So please understand their back journey, and if you relate to the journey, if you relate to their stories, I think this is your perfect mentor. So first find someone who you can relate to. Maybe if you come from a smaller city, for example, and then this guy also comes from smaller city, now you want to start a company, and this guy also started a successful company, his struggles and everything. And I think if you can resonate with the cause and with his calling, then definitely go for such mentors. Do not just go about someone who is just beating around the bush. And second thing is, do not just go for someone who has a brand value due to somewhere he's working for XYZ company. Just choose them with the story they have. Yeah.
So there are like couple of things I want to add here. So when it comes to mentoring someone, you won't get any like tuition teacher or someone कि आपने एक साल के लिए hire कर लिया किसी को, right? So when it comes to mentoring, I guess the first mentor is YouTube, Google. There are a lot of online blogs, websites, right? First you go and become self-aware. There are a lot of books. Let's if you talk about any author, और आप किसी को भी ले लो, उन्होंने कितनी किताबें लिखी होती हैं, एक छोटी सी बुक में पूरी लाइफ एक्सपीरियंसेस लिखे होते हैं, राइट? सो यू गो एंड रीड दोज बुक्स. सो फर्स्ट यू शुड बी सेल्फ अवेयर. पहले आप खुद देख लो कि क्या चीज़ें करनी है. फर्स्ट गो एंड पुट इन द वर्क. पहले डू द रिसर्च. एंड इफ यू कैंट, बिकॉज फॉर मी आई बिलीव दैट देर इज वन लाइन आई ऑलवेज से, गूगल पे कॉफ़ी बनाने से लेके बीवी बच्चा सब मिलता है, राइट? एंड दिस इज सो ट्रू. So if you want to if you want to reach out to someone, make sure you first do the research. Not just about the person but also about the thing you want to ask. तुम्हें पता होना चाहिए तुम्हें क्या पूछना है and कितना पूछना है.
Right. Two things I want to add. Like my journey even started with just a page that I followed, and I filled that form, and because of the internet, because I was surfing a lot of internet and I was searching for a lot of opportunities. So yeah, internet, as you said, is the best resource and best mentor. Today people are so much used to spoon feeding that they not even have this courage to open their mobile or open their laptop and just search on the internet that how to do this. They want this answer from someone, and then they start pinging a lot of people on LinkedIn and on a lot of platforms. So LinkedIn is not a full-time job for anyone. So please understand what you are exactly asking and whether this question matters to someone else as well. Like, is it worth answering, or is it available on the internet massively? If it is that much available, then I think you should definitely first read about it, reconstruct your question, and then go for asking it. Yeah.
Right, true. So Anuba, there's one question I want to ask. When, like, if I go to Google and search for let's say any Python course, so there are tons of courses available on Google, on YouTube. So how do I find, like, how do I go about finding the right courses, the relevant courses, and how to decide which one should I take?
Yeah, so this is why I think we started Girl Script, because there was so many results on the internet, and a newcomer who just comes into the game, I guess he or she has no clue how to go about it. So I think that's where a help from personal mentor or help from someone who is at the same stage or maybe a stage up than you can help you and tell you what is happening. So maybe you can do three things. You can ask any of your college seniors. So if you are in a good college, if you have good seniors who have achieved a lot of things, I think the seniors can really help you a lot. The second thing is that, yeah, so initial mentors can also be your college seniors, someone who is really good. They can guide you in the path. So this can be the first thing. The second thing, if you feel that you have someone in your family who can guide you, who can tell you, because sitting here I cannot tell like what you are surfing on the internet and what results you might be getting. And the third thing is that please check for if whether it is an advertisement. These are the basic things, like if whether it is being advertised on Google, that's why it is appearing on number 1 position. So you have to search on the basis of SEO as well, like it is not an advertisement but something which is actually on the top of the chart. You have to go through the reviews, you can talk to other people about it, or maybe post it. Simply make a post on LinkedIn that I found this link for learning Python, whether it is good or bad. I think you will find a lot of reviews on it. So this can also be done if you want a social media validation, but it might not be true because people write anything on LinkedIn today, so do not trust it. But there are multiple ways you can test it. And first thing is that look for the preview video that is given in the course, or the video that just start the course. If you think that the mentor and the flow and everything which he is telling resonates with what level you are in, I think that is the perfect course for you. If you know already, read the prerequisites and everything, and then find out the suitable course for you. Obviously it will take a lot of time, 1 or 2 days maybe. You can just research about which course you have to go for. Third day you can start learning. Yeah,
Right, makes sense. And one more thing, like I have taken a lot of courses for free, for paid courses, but there's one thing I realized, that when it comes to paid courses especially, Like in most of the cases, I won't say all, but in most of the cases it's not worth spending money for such
Yeah,
courses. Because let's say if you want to learn Python, if you want to learn digital marketing, anything technical, non-technical, there are already enough resources on Google, on YouTube
yeah.
for free, right? You can learn from them. So what do you think about it, especially the paid courses?
Yeah, I think we should only pay for the mentor. We should not pay for the course, because course is available anywhere. The mentor makes the difference. So if the mentor is really good and he or she is putting extra efforts, but again, the most important problem that is highlighted is all the courses are pre-recorded, so there is no interaction between you. Like we are interacting now, you can ask as many questions and we can discuss. You can also put in your points, like how you feel about it, and there might be some learnings from you as well to me and me to you, like that. So it should be a two-way communication, which is, I think, majorly missing in India. And that's why we also started live classes recently. And this is, I think, the main problem. You need to interact with the students, even if the mentor is like really genius. Pre-recorded courses, I think, mostly with Indian ecosystem and mindset, like we start surfing other things while watching the course. We start doing multiple things. So I think you should pay for the mentor, you should not pay for the course. This should be your ideology, like pay for the mentor. Yeah.
Makes sense, and in some cases we can replace the word mentor by instructor also. It depends.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah,
Yes. So, Anuba, next thing, like again, as I come from engineering background, there are a lot of myths about coding or getting the jobs in companies like Google, Adobe, or like any SD
yeah.
profile. So, I want to ask you, what are those myths about jobs or learning programming or coding?
Yeah. So, taking my example, the college which I belong to, no companies come to that college. Even Nagpur local people don't know that such a college exists, because it was a well-known college earlier, but right now, like its brand value is approximately zero. But no companies used to visit and take students from there, and it was like zero. But if you utilize your social media, your skills properly, I think so. Google called me twice, and for a year, I think, when GirlScript was not that, I think, big, or they didn't knew about it. So I got their emails from their hiring team continuously for a year. So you can understand, if someone like me, who belongs to a tier 2, and in tier 2 also the worst, I would say, college, which nobody knows, and then can get calls from these companies. So obviously you have to go through a journey, realize that okay, I am in this college, I have to work 10x harder than someone sitting at a premier campus, because he is studying with premium like people, and with the lecturers who have that kind of experience, and they can guide them, and even the seniors, they have that sort of experience. So please understand, do not lie to yourself. The first point would be, do not lie to yourself, okay, I'll do everything. This is a lie, and I am not able to do anything. This is also, I think, a lie. You have to first jot down the points, write it down, where you want to reach, what is the package criteria, and what you want to become. And then search on the internet, read the job profiles. Okay, for a Python developers, these are the 10 skills or 5 skills required. So now I will write those 5 skills on my paper. I will make sure that I check all these 5 points, and then I start applying for the jobs. The second thing is that, not even just studying through the courses, whether I have worked, like tested my knowledge, whether I have worked on different projects, maybe on GitHub, maybe as an intern or somewhere. So first test your knowledge, maybe work for free for some time for a friend's project, or maybe in a practical lab, like solve each other's problem, find an error. So likewise, there are a lot of ways in contributing. So test your knowledge, and then third thing, you will automatically get the job if the knowledge is guaranteed from your end, that you are 100% sure of that knowledge. And if it is well tested, I think there is no problem with the jobs. There are still a lot of jobs. I always suggest people to go for remote jobs. You can do and follow your passion side by side, and you can work for a company all over the world and earn a lot of money. There is also no any eligibility criteria like a degree or something. You just need proper skills. So this is my perspective toward jobs. Yeah.
True, true. So when you say that, I know there are a lot of companies offering remote internships. There is AngelList, there is Internshala, there is LinkedIn, but I think students are not aware of these opportunities, and they are not sure. Even if someone is aware of such opportunities, they are not sure how should they go about like applying for these internships, right? So like, what are the some tips you want to give to them on finding the internships in the initial days of colleges and then applying for the same internships?
Yeah. So the platforms which are just providing internships or jobs, I think there is already so much crowd that a lot of, I think majority of the students don't get even replies on when they apply. So the best thing I think is cold emails. Like you can jot down list of around 10-15 startups or companies which you might want to intern for. Just send them cold emails, but the emails that you send should be properly drafted. Like people draft emails with no subject. They just attach their profile like resume or some PDF and do not write any body. So like that you have to first learn, maybe take a course like a 1 hour or half an hour course on how to write an email, and install apps like Grammarly if you are not sure that what you are writing. Grammarly is available for free. Yeah, so install apps like that, Grammarly, or there might be other apps as well. So just install these apps, check what you have written twice. For building your resume or your profile, do not go for the standard, that box version, writing career objective which you do not even remember. So go for something like a Google template, Google Docs. Just download a Google Docs app. You have 4 beautiful templates and make a 1-page beautiful resume and just attach to the email you have written, and make sure you proofread it once or twice. If you are not sure, give it to a senior or someone who has already got an internship in your batch only, like someone who have already landed into an internship. So just tell them that please can you check it for me. So the basic question is, today we see so much positivity on social media, like it has become negative for us. So a lot of our classmates grow so much on their LinkedIn profile and a lot of social media, like we are hesitant towards asking them. So for example, Yugansh is the star performer of my class. I am hesitant towards asking, like, Yugansh, can you please check it for me? So I think you have to break that barrier. If you want to get something evaluated, do not hesitate to ask questions to your classmates. I think this will be the best opportunity, because I am not sure someone who is sitting 1,000 kilometers away in somewhere else city and who do not even know you can answer your questions well than a friend who is sitting next to you. So these are all the tips which you can utilize. Go for cold emails, make a list of companies, and even first prepare yourself that well so that the cold emails get answered. Yeah.
So there are like few things I want to add here. When it comes to cold emailing, especially this thing is especially for the startups. So let's say if you want to work with Shopnani and you are emailing me with this cliche that, hey Yugansh, I found out your profile on LinkedIn, and like your resume, you will attach your resume. But how you can personalize it by actually adding something valuable, like, hey Yugansh, you can improve the Shopnani here. This is what I can do for you, right? Do the research, make it personalized, because even if I'm not hiring, right, we look for people who are actually bring some value to the table, right? So this what you can do, because recently, like, this is a kind of very funny story which happened with me on LinkedIn. So there's this one person, he messaged me on LinkedIn like a few lines, and he saw that I really like what Shopnani is doing and all. Then at that time, actually, Shopnani website was down for 3 days, and 3 days, like, there was a big reason. We had a major collapse. So I asked this person that what is the best thing about the Shopnani's website. I specifically added website, not just Shopnani, and he gave me like few lines that the color combination, the navigation, the all these things are amazing. Like, this person, he didn't even bother to check the website whether it's actually up or not, right?
So like worst has happened, I think, with you as well. A lot of people like ping me on LinkedIn and ask me like, what is GirlScript? And then they ask me I want to work for it. Like, at least go and research about the startup you want to work for. So research is very important. At least read a few lines, go through what they are doing, go through their social media profiles. You will get a lot of things about them and how they think and what is the perspective. The second thing is, obviously a lot of people think that we are looking for praises. No, there are enough praises for us. Even if they hate us from inside, they do not forget to praise us. So there are a lot of praises. We are not looking for, okay, GirlScript is very good company, I want to work. No, we are not strictly looking for this. We are looking for someone who has observed the problem and finds a solution for it, and now they think it as their own company. So someone who has this sense of belongingness, okay, if I work for this company, I am going to do this, as you said. This is, I think, we are mainly looking for. Do not write anything like which you are praising the founder, you are praising the company. We are looking for someone who thinks as a part of the family, as a startup family, and then knows what to do. So do not do that. Please go through the website and everything, and then only write an email or DM us on LinkedIn. Yeah.
True. And you can do one more thing, like if you are approaching a startup, you can criticize them in a positive way, in a polite way, right? And this is what we do at Shop90. Like whenever we hire interns, we roll out a Google form to take the feedbacks. So we have this two columns in every form, that what is the best thing about your internship, and then what is the worst thing about your internship. And from the worst thing, we actually get to learn about us, like how we can improve, right? So yes, there is one person, like he approached to me on LinkedIn only, and this person, that he mentioned that the Shop90's website is this much percentage vulnerable, and this is how I can make it more secure, right? So if he's into cyber security space, right, so you can, like, and if you are in any domain, you can show your expertise, like how you can improve someone's company, right, someone's product. So Anubha, with this we came to an end, and before we end this, I want to ask one thing. What is the one life advice you want to give to anyone who's watching this right now?
Yeah. So do not matter whether you belong from a small city, a big city, from a mediocre, like middle class family, poor family, rich family. Everybody has their own stories, has their own struggles. So do not compare your journey with someone else. I think first thing should be to compare yourselves with you only, and just write down whatever you want to achieve in life. Once you write it down, revise it regularly, and make sure that you achieve it, and you cross check like everything every day. And I'm very sure that even if it sounds very unrealistic to you in the beginning, the things will start working. So positive thinking works. Start thinking positive, start thinking that you can achieve this. Set a deadline, make short term and long term goals, like in next 5 years I want to do these many things, and in next 5 months I want to start with these things. So you first know the starting point and the ending point as well. The journey will come along. So I am wishing you all the very best for your journey, and if I can or GirlScript can help you with anything, we would be really privileged to serve you. And thank you so much for listening to this podcast, and for hosting me, Yugansh, and giving me this opportunity to talk to these many people. Yeah.
Thank you, Anuba. Thank you so much for your time and the valuable advices. If you want to know more about GirlScript, go to the description. There is a link. If you want to follow Anuba, again go to the description. I have attached all her social media links. And once again, thank you, Anuba. It was a lovely talking to you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Yugansh. Thank you.